Okay, now we're coming to the next exercise, and it's one of those exercises which I love the most, since we can learn quite a lot of it, and there will be a lot, I can guarantee you, a lot of aha effects. Now I would like to ask you to put everything below your chair on the writings. We will sit for a couple of minutes. In the first round it will be a little bit shorter. We will close also our eyes in between, and then we open it again, up again, and then we will discuss a little bit, and then we do another row of the exercise. Now, in preparing, before I ask you to close the eyes, I would like to mention the following. I will ask you a question, and the only task you will have is that you are watching very carefully what happens exactly after I have finished the question, and to see, what's going on. So you have to be very careful. Don't focus, don't try to get it, but just clearly watch and see what happens. So I would like to ask to close your eyes, and you can now go on. You don't have to focus on a certain thought or thinking about something. You can just relax, and I will ask you a question, and the only thing is that you clearly watch what immediately happens afterwards. Ask yourself, where will my next thought come from? Okay, so you can open the eyes again. What happened? Can you tell me what you have recognizing? What type of stupid questions? Yeah. Why don't you go back before you had that thought? What type of stupid question? What was there? Someone else? What's that? Can you describe that? Can you go into that a little bit more? Okay. You were waiting until the thought is coming. Okay. But what was in between that? Just when the question was finished, and before, probably also you were thinking, what's coming next? Yeah. Yes. There is a vacuum. Yeah. Yeah, there was, I would call it as a gap between when the question was finished and the next thought came. So this is the gap between the thoughts. And we will close our eyes, and those who have not yet recognized that gap, I give you some hands on here. If you, for example, looking at a movie within the cinema, there are pictures after pictures, and we can even say each picture is a thought. Yeah? And just watch this flow of thought, and perhaps in between there is one or two pictures missing. So there is either a black screen or a white screen or whatever. Just try to recognize by looking at your movie or looking at your thoughts, when I'm giving you now some other question which you ask yourself, and try to recognize what's going on exactly after you have heard the question or after you have questioned yourself. So please close your eyes once again. And after each question, stop and pay attention what happens. Ask yourself, how big will my next thought be? Ask yourself, what will my next thought look like? Ask yourself, what shape will my next thought take? Ask yourself, what will my next thought taste like? Ask, how long will my next thought appear? Ask, what will my next thought smell like? Ask yourself, what will my thought feel like? Ask, what now open your eyes easily. What has happened? What was your experience? So, how many did now recognize that gap? Okay, it can be very, very small. Perhaps some of you have already, perhaps, more than a millisecond recognized that gap. And then, yes, the thought starts again. Yeah? Okay. Good. Now, if we are trying to focus a little bit on that gap, what was in that gap now? Okay, yeah, there was nothing. However, if you try to become once more aware of this nothing, or remember when you were becoming aware of that nothing, how did you feel, or how did you get that? Very difficult to describe, guessing, yes. Okay. It was quiet, yeah, peaceful, right? Okay. What's just happening now is that we were becoming aware about nothing. And now the mind starts to catch, or try to catch it, and describe it with words like peaceful, stillness, quietness, calm, unboundness, harmonious, whatever type of thing. So it's our mind who tries to define that. But I think nothing is more than just these buzzwords. I will ask you, when you were aware of that nothing, did you disappear? Did you fall somehow in a coma? Did you get out of body or whatever? No. You were still here. Yeah? What is normally happening? We are aware of what? Of our thoughts, of our senses, what we see, what we smell, what we get. If we get hurt, then it's our pain, which is identifying. We are identifying with our thoughts. We are identifying with our emotions. So we are thinking that we are, 180. Now we are this age, have been born there. So we are mostly identifying with these thoughts and what we are, so that what we feel and what we taking notes of our sense. Now, if this disappeared for a moment in that gap, in that nothing, this identification which we think we are disappeared, yeah? But we were not gone. And that's actually also the good message here. During that time, that small gap where you were aware about this nothing, did you care about your latest bill, your kids at home, your problems at the job? No. But you were still here. Yeah? And actually, we are normally always aware of our thoughts and not of the gap between. And the gap, or the nothing, is always here. It's just if we get aware of it or not. And the interesting thing here is that with quantum entrainment, with the technique, we get aware of pure awareness. So it's bringing us from the common consciousness. So it's this state. We have talked, in the beginning of our workshop or presentation, and it brings us to here. And it's actually, we can also say there is rest. And even a scientist have defined once that to become aware of pure awareness is the deepest rest you can get. And rest is always linked with healing. As you know, if you have a flu, but even if you have an accident, or you have some broken legs or whatever, the best is you rest, you sleep. And mostly over one day, or of course if you have an accident or a bigger issue, it takes a little bit longer. But the best progress you're doing in rest. So if we become aware of pure awareness, which is the deepest rest you can get, the healing is taking place from this here. Yeah? So if you look at here, you can also do a lot of things on this level. Yeah? You go to the surgery, you take some medicine, that's all fine. You go to healing technique and so on and so on. However, the deepest rest and the deepest healing we get from pure awareness. Now, if we summarize what we have just experienced now, so first of all, as you can now see, quantum entrainment is not a healing technique. Has nothing to do with that. It's a technique where we become aware of pure awareness. So it takes us from the common consciousness to the pure awareness. And now, the great thing is with QE, if we step out in this gap of nothing, as we have just seen, we cannot stay there forever, since otherwise we have to go to a monastery, to a cave, whatever, and even there you have to do some activities. But the good thing and the message here is we can go back into daily life and still be aware of pure awareness. As you will see then later on in the demonstration I will give, I will be aware of pure awareness, and I will talk to you. I will have normal activities. And so what QE is also doing here is it combines actually these two worlds. It takes us back actually if we have experienced pure awareness in today's daily activity. It's like the Einsteins, you remember? When they have been aligned, yeah, you take off the magnet, but still there is some order there. And that's the same here. If we go back, we are in a more harmonious state. And we call that actually, if we are aware of pure awareness and at the same time we are doing our daily, go along with our daily business, we call it QE awareness. Now, I would like to go to another subject, and I will talk a little bit about the mental model, which actually parallels similar to the material model, how QE works on this type of level.